number 2 of the Rich Eisen Show is on the air. We had Brett Favre in hour number 1. Triple G's joining us in studio hour number 3. We're back from our 3-day weekend, and I'm joined to my right by one of my favorite people, favorite guests that we've had here on this program. And who knew? As you know, good things, Brockman, happen in threes.
That's true.
Who knew that this man was the one that started the great things happening with threes that ended with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray? He's none other than Chris Harrison. Good
what a
to
weird
see you,
sandwich you have today. Favre.
Yes. Triple G.
Triple G.
Yeah.
And Chris Harrison. Where exactly do I fit in that spectrum?
Hour 2.
We'll just call it hour 2.
It's a 3-hour show. We're talking sports,
Thanks
pop
for not
culture.
just saying he's
Come
number
on now.
2.
No, you're out.
2.
You're guest number 1 of hour number 2.
Okay, got it.
And in season 15 of The Bachelorette,
Yeah.
which just launched. We're not in June yet, so earlier this month.
Yeah, episode 2. We're 2 episodes, 3 episodes in.
And this young lady, Hannah Brown.
Yep.
From University of Alabama.
The pride of Alabama.
Every single time your show airs, that gentleman, Brockman, comes and walks in
It's the best show on television.
and saying that she's interesting.
She is full
going
on Roll Tide. One of the best parts, I had never been to Tuscaloosa, and obviously just being a football and a sports fan,
Yes.
would like to go to Bama.
Okay.
I didn't get to go to a game, but I went and got to kind of partake all that is Tuscaloosa. Man, it is Roll Tide through and through.
It is that. Is there any chance that you could get Nick Saban involved to finish this season up?
Here's what I would love, and it's a possibility. What I would like is for Saban just to come on at the end and just give her a pep talk.
For
Like when it's the final
Like
three
just to
or
finish this.
something?
Yeah, like final rose ceremony. We're close. She's not sure. Saban comes in and just gets her fired up.
Well, the guy normally, Chris, talks about making sure that you just ignore all the noise.
Okay.
Right. Just focus on the task at hand. Calls all the noise, the outside noise, rat poison. I don't know if that would work.
There is a lot of rat poison this season.
He might.
That's
He might have to tweak his stump speech.
right.
But maybe he gives it to the guys.
What do you,
though.
I mean, does Saban probably have like 5 speeches? You know, like he says the go-tos.
I know he's got one in the top left drawer.
What's the situation? He just has like a little like thing. He's like, all right, situation, like bowl game.
Yes.
Mid-season, we're in a slump.
Yes.
We're going to go undefeated again. What's that? How do I keep everybody fired up? Chip on the shoulder.
My favorite speech is Saban's. This is usually what, Chris, would you say? It's about late November. It's mid-November.
They're undefeated.
They're undefeated.
Yeah.
And the team that they've paid to come play in Tuscaloosa.
A directional school.
To warm up for Auburn is coming in.
And Northeast Louisiana.
Yes,
Northeast,
Tech, right,
Southwest.
Exactly. Some directional.
Our Lady of the Lake.
It's coming in, and he's just going to make sure that all the kids are not looking to the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Bama's
Saban
favored by
speech.
92.
Yeah. And then they're down 7-0 first quarter.
Right.
Twitter's blowing up. And you just know Saban's halftime speech, the paint is going to be peeled in some way, shape, or form.
So that's what I need for Hannah. That's what I need for Hannah.
Okay. And so year 15 now, it's just you're just on a roll.
You would think. I would think about 17 years of this is definitely garners us to be that legendary status of television, because it just doesn't happen. I mean, to go this long between this many bachelors, this many bachelorettes, it really is an incredible run. It is a dynasty, the likes of which you don't see in sport.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, last time you were on, you were getting ready to officiate a wedding during the Cowboys-Rams playoff game.
Thank God I missed that one.
A major conundrum for you.
Since the Cowboys lost that game.
Right.
Turns out going to Hawaii was not such a bad choice. Ari and Lauren's wedding. I married them in Hawaii, and I missed that Cowboys game. That's literally a stone's throw from here.
Right.
But yeah, that was a tough call, but the right choice to make.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had to do that.
Yeah.
That's the only one that you have officiated to this point in time, correct?
No, I've done.
More?
I've done a handful now. Jaden Tanner, Ashley and JP. I've done a bunch of these weddings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've spawned children. I have children.
Does anybody jump the fence on you?
Just Colton.
Huh?
Just Colton. He's the only one that's jumped the fence.
That's the only one.
It was funny. I was at NFL Films, and they asked me if you could kind of compare, Colton to the,
Yes.
someone in the NFL. And I said, well, I would say you take the Lambeau leap. You have a little bit of, Bo Jackson.
Yes.
And Odell Beckham.
Yes.
Like the artistry of Odell Beckham with the athleticism of Bo Jackson. That was the leap.
Have you ever tried a Lambeau leap? Have you ever done that?
No, but I tried the leap. I tried Colton's leap.
Okay, and
it took me 3 tries because one thing is I went to the tape. I slow-moed it down. I went into the film room. The thing is that was so athletic about it is once he leapt up, I don't know if that's correct, but he never touched the fence or the top of the fence. Like he didn't drag the foot, and his foot never touched the top. You know how you get your foot up and then you'd hop over? It was floor. That was it.
It's like a pole vault.
Yeah, and so it took me a minute, pommel horse-ish.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get over the pommel horse the way he did. He does have about 3 or 4 inches on me, so.
By the way, I think that's the first time in our near 5 years of the show anybody's ever said pommel horse-ish.
It's
pommel horse-ish.
It's a verb.
It is.
We were pommel horsing.
Chris Harrison here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, what do you think Kyler Murray's going to do to the next level here, bud? What do you think? What do you think?
I think he's going to be explosive. He's going to be exciting. He's going to have growing pains. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
He's still got to go from college football, which moves at this speed, to pro football, which moves at 1,000 miles an hour. And all of a sudden, those guys aren't open anymore. But I will say this, he's going to be unbelievably exciting. And like most quarterbacks, the RG3s of the world and guys like that, the Vics, he'll extend plays and he'll make things happen that most guys wouldn't because of those growing pains. So I think he's going to be a little bit better just because he's athletic as all get out.
And it's just, I can't wait to watch every single one of these early games that he's going to have. Obviously, the first one's against Detroit at home, and then it's him versus Lamar Jackson.
So you're telling me you're watching Browns Detroit?
I am watching as many of those as I possibly can. So I'm watching Cardinals versus Lions.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
I know that, right?
Browns Detroit is a game on your calendar.
Yes, exactly.
And the NFL is just one.
Well, I love Baker Mayfield too. You know, I love every last one of these guys.
No, Baker's going to be amazing. Watching Baker Mayfield this year, watching Kyler Murray play this year. There's a lot of exciting stories.
Your guy Dak, would you pay him $30 million a year?
Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
I think
that's what's going on with the Cowboys right now.
Here's the issue. When you talk about franchise quarterbacks, okay, this is a great example because of Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. Those are the best picks you can get as of late in the draft. Would you not say, I'll take Dak Prescott over those guys? He's a franchise quarterback.
Oh, it's his turn to get paid.
Where are you going to go? Where else are you going to go?
He won a playoff game for the Dallas Cowboys, which again, you can count on the number of one hand.
Right.
Talking about quarterbacks since Troy and the triplets left.
Right.
He's done that. It's his turn to get paid.
I mean, look what they just did to get Kyler Murray. Look what they did to poor Josh Rosen.
Right, I know.
I mean, that's how valuable a franchise quarterback is. Would you have made that play
for
Kyler?
Just for Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
If I switched my coach like that, bringing in a system for which Murray is perfect, I would have thought real long and hard about it. I'm just a big Rosen fan. Yeah. I'm a huge Josh Rosen fan.
But that was very on the fence.
Did you see how
I saw you straddling?
But no, I understand why the Cardinals did what they did. Like I said, I am watching Cardinals Lions week 1. I'm watching it's going to be Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson week 2. Then you're going to see Kyler Murray versus Russell Wilson twice a year.
Right.
You're going to see
seriously, you're going to be watching the Cardinals and the Browns play football this year.
That is correct. Thanks to the Oklahoma Sooner quarterback
really,
club.
Thanks to OU. That's really a bizarre. But think of all the talent that's now. I mean, I was with somebody. I don't know who it was because there's only one in the world. But I ran into a Browns fan, and to hear the excitement. Sorry, Cleveland. Have they been beat on enough?
Yeah, I know.
You know what? If I wish anybody well, I would love to see the Cardinals do well because they've been bad for a while. And your friend and mine, Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best human beings
ever.
Correct. I wish him well. And I think that's really where I am. Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I meet these players.
Yep.
I love Larry Fitzgerald. He is as good a human being, and I hope Kyler comes in and they can do something special. But wouldn't we all be a little excited if the Browns were good?
Oh my gosh.
How that makes the NFL more fun.
I agree with you. The biggest NFL fan of your shows is who? that you've come across?
Fitzgerald is a big one. I mean, if I go back, God rest his soul, Dwight Clark.
No kidding.
One of the best stories I've ever had. I was sitting at, I think it was back then, it was Drew Brees' golf tournament down in San Diego. And I was sitting at a bar, and this guy came up to me, and I wasn't really paying attention. He's like, hey, are you Chris Harrison? I said, yeah, how you doing? He's like, Dwight Clark. I said, you son of a bitch. And he goes, Cowboys fan.
That's right.
I said, yes, sir. And he said, can I buy you a beer? And I said,
come on.
That's the least you can do for ruining my childhood. And Dwight and I actually formed a friendship, and we talked, and we kept in touch for many, many years. An odd friendship. And he actually signed a ball for me, X and O'd the play, the catch.
Yes.
As kind of like a special FU to me and ruining my childhood. Dwight Clark gave me that. But a great guy and a big Bachelor fan.
Big Bachelor fan. That's cool. And how about what Jesse Palmer's turned into right now, right?
Yeah.
I
Think
mean,
about that.
He has really taken that platform
and run
literally with it.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Far better than his NFL career with the Giants, right? And he really came in. So. You know what's interesting? With Jesse Palmer, he came in. I said, why are you doing this? Like, really, why are you doing this? And he goes, well, he's like, yeah, would I love to find somebody? Sure. He's like, but my agent said this might be a good platform and a good launch to start a sportscasting career. And I said, buddy, no one's ever really launched anything from this. I don't know if that's such a great idea.
Yeah.
Well,
you're the kind of reverse of that, right? Sportscasting career.
Yeah, I went sportscasting
into the Bachelor.
To network pimp. Usually it's different.
I never saw that chyron under your face.
Network pimp. Well, someone said one time, like, oh, do you have a card? Can I have your number? Do you have a card? I said, if I did have a business card, which I don't, what would it say? Would it be like network pimp? I think that would be
network pimp.
Yeah.
Before we conclude this latest visit to this show, and I always love having you here, Chris Harrison, you've got a new pod out.
Yeah.
With none other than the great
Hall of Famer, Johnny Miller.
Johnny Miller.
Yeah, so this is awesome. Again, you mentioned I used to be a sportscaster. My love is sports, and I could talk it all day. I have this friendship, as you with Callaway, and they called and said, we need a host, someone who loves golf, passionate, but can also really hang and push Johnny Miller because he wants to get back on the mic. He still has stuff to say. And honestly, you're watching the PGA Championship and Brooks Koepka goes bogey, 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 11 through 14. I wish I knew what Johnny Miller was saying right then.
Right.
And, what's he saying about John Daly and Nick Cart or Phil Mickelson going to Pebble Beach? And so we decided, let's put Johnny Miller back on the mic. And so he and I are doing a series of 6 podcast. It's on, you can go to Callaway.com or we're now on iTunes. It's Real Golf Talk with Johnny Miller, hosted by me. Mm-hmm. And it's just the world according to Johnny. And I'm asking him about Tiger, about Brooks Koepka, about Phil Mickelson. Is he ever going to win the U.S. Open? What did he say about sleeping on the lead with 7 shots? And with John Daly, he was great. I'll give you a little spoiler. I said, what do you think of John Daly? He says, maybe he should have been home watching soap operas. And we all need to know when it's time to hang it up, and maybe he needs to know it's time to hang it up.
It's been a long time since he had an F to give. Johnny Miller.
Here's the thing:
he's run. Literally, he ran out of them decades ago.
You're kind of a sports guy.
Yes, thank you.
Name me a sport, any other sport in the world where you're hurt, and so the entire game is changed for you.
Mm-hmm. That the game is hurt. You mean the entire parameters of the game?
For example, Kevin Durant is hurt.
Yes.
I'm sure they would love to have him out there. How about you have to stand 3 feet away from Kevin Durant? He gets to shoot.
Right.
And you can't touch him and you can't put your arm up.
Right.
That seems fair. I mean, he's hurt.
That's right. Or you move the 3-point line in or something like that.
Tom Brady's has hurt. Put a red jersey on him. You cannot touch Tom Brady. He gets 1 throw or 10 seconds before anyone can rush him.
Right.
Yeah, but that's kind of the rule anyway.
That's true. Wow. But in what sport is so much changed than golf? It just seems odd. And they're trying to get it. He got it for the senior tour, and they're actually talking to the R&A about the British Open.
Right.
And my hope is that the R&A is strong and bold enough and has enough respect for their sport that they're like, please.
Yeah, I know.
Walking is part of this.
It really was strange.
It was, he's sitting there with smoking heaters, and he's got his McDonald's cup, and I'm like, really? I don't know.
You were not loving it.
I did not love that. I saw what you did
You were
there.
not loving it. All right, you got
This hour of the Rich Eisen Show brought to you by...
Hey now, Callaway. We got our Callaway corner over there. Before we send Chris out there, you got questions about Hannah? I know that you are truly the most diehard Bachelorette fan that I know.
I'm into this show a lot. The guys have been fascinating.
Luke P.
To me this. Yeah, Luke P. What's his story?
What about ABC? Always be Cam.
Now this guy, is he doing a bit? Is this a bit?
I hope so. For his sake, I hope so.
It has to be, right?
Yeah. So Cam, obviously, I won't give any spoilers, but I think you'll see what happens to Cam soon. But Luke P. Here's the thing: you talk about villains. It really has to do with how the Bachelorette feels about that person, of how big of an impact they'll have. And she obviously cares for Luke P., although she did put him in his place last night.
She did.
Well, there's no pity roses, right? I mean, that's what she's saying. She's not handing out any pity
No,
roses.
but she stopped what she was doing, got up, took him to another room, and was like, "Yo, bro, check yourself."
This is what I love about.
Yeah.
This is what I love about Hannah. She handles her own business.
She does.
She wears her heart on her sleeve. She is emotional, but man, she will handle her own business. And I'm like, all right.
I mean, that's years of being in the pageant game, I got to imagine.
Years of being in the
right?
pageant, maybe honestly growing up in the shadow of Nick Saban.
I'm telling you.
She goes for the jugular.
This is what needs to happen.
This
There's some
would be
sort of
great.
NCAA Bachelorette or combination
Right, how
here.
good.
Yeah, I think we need to do this. Lane Kiffin comes out somehow, some way, just to spook Nick Saban last second, or I'm spitballing here.
Right,
but
there's a lot of Roll Tide references. I'm just going to apologize to Bachelor Nation. We get it. There's a lot of Roll Tide, but if you're ever in Tuscaloosa, which I have been,
that's it.
It's just a way of life.
Come on. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Every November when I go through what seems to be an unfortunate ritual these days for me with Ohio State, and I go through these cathartic first quarter, second quarter moments where I'm staring at the ceiling, or last year just throwing myself into the love of my children, playing with my kids on the floor, wondering, why does this mean so much to me?
Pain?
Why does this, as a grown man with so many different outlets, why does this mean so much to me? I just would love to, just for a split second, be an Alabama fan where you just don't have those issues.
You don't have a care in the world.
No.
While we've been on the air during this interview, they've won 4 national titles. I don't know how, but they just so bizarre.
Oklahoma's water skiing behind a few yachts these days, too.
That's true.
I mean, things are pretty damn good for you, too. At Chris B. Harrison on both Twitter and Instagram. The Bachelorette on ABC, airing Mondays at 8 Eastern Time. Keep an eye out for Nick Saban. And also that podcast you do.
Yeah, Real Golf Talk with Johnny Miller.
Johnny Miller.
Check it out.
We definitely will.
It's actually really good. I enjoyed it.
Now, by the way, you don't have to go higher register and say actually really good. You can say this is great. I love it. I'm great at it.
I do love it.
Okay.
It is awesome.
You can say that. It's okay. Chris Harrison here on The Rich Eisen Show. When we come back, we'll show a clip of the latest episode of The Bachelorette. That's coming up with Chris Brockman's news update, and also Triple G is hanging out in our green room.
We will wrestle today.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
That'll be great. You haven't had enough contact for the day.
Right.
Chris Harrison here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.